Hello, guys. Welcome once again to this week's edition of Well Met. This week's legendary is none other than the final boss himself, the latest addition to Cloud9. His name is StrifeCro. Hello, StrifeCro.
Hey, how's it going?
It's all good, man. Thank you for joining us on Well Met this week. Hope you're doing okay. Congratulations on joining Cloud9.
Yeah, thanks. We've been talking to them a while, and we've been me and I guess the Doggy House people, me and Nimsh and Ecop. We've kind of been looking for a long time for a really nice team, and I think we finally found it. So
It's all good, man. I know that their t-shirts are awesome, and now they have an awesome Hearthstone roster to go with it. So, really quickly here, can you introduce yourself for all those people who might not know who you are?
yeah, I'm StrifeCro. My name is Kong Shu. I've been playing Hearthstone for I guess since it came out in the beta. I have some experience in some other games. I've played StarCraft 2 for Team Evil Geniuses before in the early Wings of Liberty. And right now I'm currently in school for game design, and basically that's what I'm planning on doing later. So
Sweet, sweet. And you can't forget that you were actually a part of a 2v2 duo, I believe a legendary 2v2 Warcraft 3 duo with
oh yeah,
Axlav, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, that's great. We were really good at 2v2. I don't. Our team was we had like a Warcraft 3 team. I think we were in like the top Warcraft 3 team league at the time. It was called like WC3L or something for a while. But our team was kind of like the worst team there. So I mean, we weren't like that great at Warcraft 3, but I think we were basically exceptionally good at twos. 2 versus 2 is what it is. Like we almost never won any 1v1 games. Our team. It's not just me and Axel. There were some other people on our team too. But yeah, that's what it was.
Hey, man. The sum total is greater than its parts. All right, really quickly, can you give us a bit of your gaming history with video games and card games in particular?
Well, I think we talked about some of the video games.
Yeah.
The other video games I played, League of Legends, I've played, and I actually still play League of Legends. Last season, I was like very close to Challenger in Solo queue, and
Nice.
I was in some 5v5 Challenger teams, but we never really had a chance to qualify for LCS. It's more like just like I guess like a top amateur team or something playing for fun. I don't know, but about card game history. I actually played Magic the Gathering online. I've actually never played Magic the Gathering in real life, other than, I mean, that's not really true because I've played when I was like 8 years old or 7 years old, like back in, I don't know, like Ice Age and Magic the Gathering, but like, that's not like the same. Like I pretty much had no idea what I was doing. I was like a little kid, but I did start playing Magic the Gathering maybe like 1 or 2 years ago online, and I was actually pretty good. It's really hard to say how good I was because it's not like I went to any I didn't play any tournaments, but like I don't know. I'd like to think I was pretty good. I just don't know how else to put it.
All right. Really quickly, follow-up question: which color were you in in the Gathering?
I mostly played blue-white control decks, something like. I also kind of played Esper control, which is blue, white, and black. So I guess because Magic, you don't like most of the decks aren't mono color, right? So it's hard to say just what color, but if anything, it's just like blue and white mostly. Sometimes like I played Esper control. My favorite, I like to play. I really like to play Magic decks that had a lot of interaction on board. Not just spells. A lot of the control decks are like almost completely focused on getting like card advantage and like resource advantage some way, like getting out more lands and drawing more cards. But I actually really like playing control decks that use a lot of planeswalkers and stuff like Lingering Souls. I basically really like playing that kind of like soul control deck. It was really fun.
Yeah, and for all those people which might be confused about what the hell we're talking about, in Magic the Gathering, you get, instead of different classes, you get different colors, and you can play hybrid colors as well. And white, of course, I believe, is small minions with equipment that makes them really powerful, and blue is mainly flying based, if I'm not mistaken.
Blue is kind of almost like counter spells and like draw, I think, a
Yeah.
lot. White is like efficient minions, kind of. But I mean, it changes. I mean, like core identities don't really change, but like specifically, like cards change as
Yeah.
the game progresses because they release expansion sets a lot in Magic compared to Hearthstone. Like every couple of months, there's new expansions, and you can
Yeah.
only play the format I played was standard, which means it's like I guess I would say it's the most competitive format, but I can't really be sure. But it's like the format that it's just like the newer cards, not like say Legacy, which is like pretty much anything goes. And I mean, I guess like back to what I was talking about how like that's kind of the reason why I really liked Hearthstone when it came out because Hearthstone, especially compared to Magic, is a lot more based on creature interaction and creature combat instead of just like spell syncing and stuff. It might not be true anymore now that Miracle Rogue is so strong, but I really don't. I really that's not why I play Hearthstone. Like I really don't like Miracle Rogue
Yeah.
as a deck, but you know, in the old days, like but at one point it was really honest, like creature fighting and doing like it's like I kind of like thinking about it as like a form of like empire building, like building my empire. You
Yeah.
know, like my board is getting stronger and I'm setting up like these situations. Instead, I feel like Miracle Rogue is almost like just like counting numbers. You know, it's like I got 18 damage. I really don't like it, but yeah, all right. We can
Yeah.
move on to the next topic.
It's fine, man. It's fine. We'll go back into some Miracle Rope discussion later on. For now, could you tell us who are your top 5 pros in the scene? Of course, other than you.
Let me think about this for a second. Um, well, I know. I think from results based, and I can really only go off results because I haven't really personally like played everyone, so it's
Yeah.
hard for me to say exactly. But I know that RDU has been doing really good. Like I think he won DreamHack, and I think there's another tournament very recently. I think it was the Well Played Cup.
Yeah, and then he also got
second place.
He also got a top 4 at DreamHack Bucharest as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Also think that Clento, who's my teammate now in Cloud9, he's just had really consistent results both in ladder and now in the tournaments as well. He got I think 3rd place or 2nd place in the Millennium Cup. Other than that, let's see. I mean, Nimsh and Ecop have been doing very good for a long time, like very consistently in the tournaments as well. And then there's like, it's hard to say, but
Yeah.
Savage has been. It's hard for me to pronounce his name. I just call him Savages, but he's been doing. I mean, I don't know. I guess he hasn't been doing that great recently, but you know, he's always been a really good player.
Yeah. He's been pretty much the cream of the crop. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of players that have been doing really good on ladder recently, as far as like fighting for the top 16 spots. But you know, I don't know. It definitely means something, especially if you can do it consistently. But I think the MMR, like how the ladder works, it's not too great of a design for a game like Hearthstone to base the rankings on your MMR. I think actually, like someone asked me this question like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
It wasn't in an interview. It was like a friend on Skype, and he was saying, "How do you feel about the ladder?" And I was like, well, you know, it's a ladder. It's probably pretty good. Like, because a lot of people always complain about the ladder. I kind of think that's pretty dumb because, you know, ladders, like, it's not something that Blizzard really designed, right? It's like, because he was saying how it's really swingy. And, you know, I was saying, my argument was, well, it's swingy because that's just what it is. Like, the rankings are just what it is, right? Like, but then after thinking about it a little bit more and doing some like research on like how ELO systems work and stuff,
Mm,
I actually think it's not really well designed for a game of like to some degree a lot of chance like Hearthstone,
mm,
where like you're not gonna always beat a better or worse player than you.
yeah,
So, and the way like a lot of like the ELO system works, there's pretty much like two numbers. It's like one of the numbers is your rating, and the other one's like basically like the reliability factor, which
yeah,
is like how fast your ELO changes. And I think it basically like changes extremely fast. But I think the big thing is um, when you're dropping like 100 ranks or
yeah,
like 150 ranks in like 2 or 3 games, it just in a way like that's really what it is. Like your MMR is just going down that much, so it's like it's fair in a way, but it actually just doesn't really encourage people to play
yeah,
because no one really wants to play. So in reality, it actually makes the ranking system not as accurate because a lot of the players just aren't willing to play once they get into top 16 or even get into legend just because like their heart can't even handle it,
yeah,
like it's just like too swingy. And so like even if the MMR is like truly just how good you are, at that moment in time, it might not be very accurate just because the system just encourages like inactivity. So then it's even hard to say who's the best players from ladders. So.
Do you think that maybe adding ladder decay might help remedy this, or do you think that might encourage this ladder anxiety thing which has arisen?
Well, it wouldn't change ladder anxiety, but it just force people to play.
Mm,
I don't think you can introduce ladder decay in a 1 month league. Like
yeah,
it's just too short, right? Like you can't expect everyone to play like every day. Like not everybody is playing Hearthstone. Like it's you can't expect people to play all day every day,
yeah,
and even like some weeks at a time if they're doing something. So I think I mean there are systems. It's like even the system in League of Legends and StarCraft 2 where there's like a point like the points you have in StarCraft 2 and League of Legends isn't just your MMR. It's like it's it's affected by your MMR because like you gain more and lose more points depending on where your MMR is. But ultimately, like the point system means that like your ranking changes a lot slower. I think it could probably be better. I think Hearthstone's probably like one of the first games that they had where your ranking is entirely based on your matchmaking ranking or ELO or whatever,
yeah,
instead of like the points that you get every game, like 5 points a game or whatever.
yeah.
So I think it might be a better system in a ranking, even if it's like less accurate in a way. It'll still be more accurate just because people are willing to play more. I think.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, I like the way the normal ladder is, like from 25 to 1, but beyond that, it's, as you say, a bit too swingy. All right, going into a bit more of a, like, I'm not sure what the exact term would be, but a bit more of a lighter question over here. We've got which Hearthstone card best represents you? I know it's like a complete swing there.
Okay, well, I'd say either a lot of people race. I like to think of myself as Blood Mage Dullness because like the card is it's like it can do a lot of things. Like, you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah,
novice. It's like a combination of like a novice, a loot hoarder, or something, and like a geomancer. And I guess it's just I like to think of it as like I kind of play like a lot of decks, and I can play like a lot of decks really well. So it's like that's why I like to say I'm a blood mage stall nice.
nice, nice. I've spoken to a lot of players, and a lot of players have brought you up, especially because of your thought process. Could you tell us what goes through your mind when you're actually playing a pro Hearthstone game?
Well, I think it's just this might be a really deep explanation, but I
It's
think
fine,
like
man. Go ham.
I think it's just basically I see a lot of people like really thinking about technical play a lot. I think there's like probably like two big ways to think about Hearthstone in a game. It's like, or like I think different thought process can be probably classified as either like technical or conceptual. Whereas technical is more like stuff like I was saying before, like Miracle Rogue, like counting the numbers and stuff, or like seeing like a really like like a tight play or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like conceptual play is more like this. What I was saying before again, like the empire building stuff, like seeing like conceptually like what's stronger. Like for example, like what happens when you're playing handlock and you life tap. Like it makes your it's almost like a wall of growth in a way because it makes your giants cheaper. It makes your molten giants 2 cheaper. Mountain giants 1 cheaper. It makes your twilight drake stronger. So it's like I like to like I think a lot about conceptual play, and I like decks that really benefit a lot from thinking conceptually, like not like technically like counting numbers per se, like I deal 3 to this and then 2 to this perfectly with this, but more like what's like overall strong. And I guess I feel like that's what's a big difference between the way I like to play and a lot of other people.
Interesting. Interesting. On a side note, how would you classify your teammates? Like, would you say that they're conceptual players or technical players?
Hmm. I don't know, but I think from what I've seen, I think that Kalento is probably like one of like the tightest technical players there are. Like I think that a lot of the decks that he plays and that he really likes are like extremely technical, like for example like Miracle Rogue and stuff. But other than that, I'm not sure. Like I think Kalento's like an exceptionally good technical player, and other players I'm not sure.
All right. Moving on to the next question. Let's talk a little bit about the upcoming Naxxramas expansion, which should be hitting, I think, in the next few days. It was just announced to be released in July, I believe. So, yeah, what card are you looking forward the most?
Hmm. I actually kind of like Web Spinner for Hunter. Like, I actually like Hunter is so weird, right? Because like all the Hunter decks you play, like when you win as Hunter, like everyone hates you, right? It's that's just what it is right now.
Yeah.
Like all the decks are so gimmicky, right? And I feel like Web Spinner is really what Hunter needs a lot to make like more like standard decks, because the Hunter cards right now, they it feels like they just need something like Web Spinner, like because they don't have any like creatures they can drop almost. Like there was for a period of time there was like this mid range Hunter that was almost like dominating for a while, but even that was really based on this like weird Unleash combo, right? But it's like you never really see Hunters like build up their board and have like creatures, and stuff like that. It's almost all like just like face damage and burn and like traps and an eagle horn bow, or something like that.
Yeah.
I really think that like Web Spinner really takes the hunter in another direction, basically. Especially since the beast is random, you can't really just be a completely burn hunter because a lot of the beasts aren't just like chargers, or whatever. So like it really encourages, and then they have like a really efficient and strong like 1-drop. It's like a 1 mana novice engineer almost, right? So
Yeah.
it's like it's really over budgeted, and so it really gives them a lot of incentive to play a more honest play style.
Indeed. Do you like the way Blizzard are planning to release the expansion on a weekly basis?
I actually don't know how they're like. It's news to me how they're releasing it. I haven't read about it.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, basically, have you played Naxxramas in World of Warcraft?
Yeah. I actually did the raid, the
Oh,
Max
nice.
raid.
Well, they're basically releasing each wing on a weekly basis, with the first one being for free, and then the next ones being priced in gold and dollars. So,
Okay,
yeah,
so the first wing is 3. How many wings are like 4 wings?
I think they are. Yeah. They might wait. There might be a fifth one with Kel'Thuzad though, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they can release it weekly to give people time to get the cards. Like, I don't know, most sets are released like in Magic like at once because it's like you can have like weird metagames weekly, right? Where
Yeah.
like if you just have like if you release a whole set, like all the cards come out and then you can make like the best constructed decks. But In a way, it doesn't really matter because in the long run, the constructed metagame will be the exact same.
Yeah.
And in a way, like a lot of the Hearthstone community is casual, so the top like competitive constructed metagame isn't as important as just giving most people a good experience, like playing through the Naxxramas. So I don't really mind either way, even though I probably belong to the minority, like the competitive Hearthstone like constructed community. But it honestly doesn't even matter for us. So.
Yeah, it's just that you got to adapt to like the flavor. It'll be like a flavor of the week kind of thing till the entire thing is released.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about game features. If you could add one feature to the game in general, what would it be and do? And of course, the spectator mode is coming with the Naxx expansion or
Oh, yeah.
after that, so any other feature other than that?
Well, I mean, it's hard to say so fast. It's like hard. It's like a really hard question to answer. But they have like a reconnect feature, I believe, right now. But it's not, I don't know. It almost seems like it never works. But that'd be a really good thing to like easily to make people happier. It's almost like there's like some features where there's not really a cost of adding it. It's more, I mean, a cost, I mean like there's a cost in dollars for them to program it, but it's not like it doesn't really like make the game worse in any way. And stuff like Spectator and reconnecting is stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
As long as you have enough manpower and programming hours, you can add like just good features like that. So, if they can just find a lot of good features to add, that will make everyone happy. Oh yeah, one thing obviously, I just thought about it because I was talking about this earlier, but they should have a ladder where you can see like right now the only way to see the ladder is if you just add a lot of people to your friends list, right? And hopefully they're like the top people. But there needs to be like somewhere in the client or at least the Bellnet website where you can actually see like a real-time updated ladder, especially if they're using the ladder for BlizzCon like qualifications. I think it'd be more fair to people basically. For people to see it,
Yeah, I agree with that.
Especially like since not everyone has like a lot of contacts, it's almost like unfair in a way because the people with basically more friends or more contacts at the top level, they can kind of get a better picture of what the top 16 looks like because they have more people on their friends list or Skype, or whatever. Whereas someone that might be even really good, but that doesn't have the contacts, they might be pretty clueless like where they need to be, because it's not exactly top 16 every season. Like some people that already qualified, they might still be top 16, but that would mean that there's like 20 slots, you know what I mean? Because they don't take a slot. So it's like stuff like that the ladder would help a lot, like a visible ladder.
Yeah, and also there's the constraints of BattleNet itself where you can only have like 100 friends, so if like you want to even get a better picture, you're going to need to get like more than 100, and that means like extra accounts, and yeah, it's just not good. So yeah, a reconnect feature. Do you think like maybe also a replay system where you could even like restart from replay or something like that?
Oh yeah, a replay system would be really good just to see like save some of your games and see from your perspective. I guess it wouldn't be fair if you could see the other person's perspective because it's like something that you don't really have the information in the game. But if you could just like save a replay and just see from your own perspective and think about your decisions, that's good. I mean, it's hard to justify them coding that in because it's not like I don't know how used it will be. Like it might be used like just like the top level construction thing. But like I can't ever see almost anyone using something like a replay thing in Hearthstone, right? Like a game like StarCraft maybe is a little bit different, like watching the game. But like Hearthstone, I don't know if people really want to see their own card games again. But I don't know. Again, like if they have enough. It wouldn't really have a cost of adding it. It's just whether it's worth it for them.
And also, like the question comes into mind that how difficult is the game to code itself? Like we all know that Blizzard's history with coding has been horrible. I mean, from Warcraft 3, they did a really good job, but early on, I heard it was just a mess. And the same thing could be said for World of Warcraft. And with StarCraft 2, it took them a long time to add different features. But the question is Hearthstone difficult to code? Is it easy to code? I don't know.
Yeah. Also, it's like, especially since Hearthstone, it's like they're being pushing it into like iPad and stuff.
Hmm.
So I mean, all these replays need to be saved somewhere too.
Yeah.
It could get really weird, right? Like because they'll just take up too much space in your hard drive, maybe or something. So
Yeah, unless you have it just for, let's say, custom games or something where you can just tick save, replay to hard drive or something like that, because latter games would just be completely impossible, man. Um,
yeah.
yeah. Going into the next question, let's just talk about the spectator mode itself right now. Do you think there is an important tool that should be added into the upcoming spectator mode, like something to calculate odds?
Oh, the odds of a card. Yeah, that could be cool things. They could do a lot of, because if they really want to push Hearthstone as an esport, having a spectator mode is going to be really important. Like right now, the tournaments are pretty much like a mishmash of like two people's streams, right? Like
Yeah.
it's like two people's recorded videos, and then someone kind of edits it in or something
Yeah.
like that. I don't really know exactly, but there's not like one thing where it's clean, especially if
Yeah.
you're doing like a live event, right? It's like it basically just forces both people to stream and then like do weird stuff with it. I think the spectator client, like say the admin or something, they can do cool stuff like bring up percentages, or another thing is like you can have like a lot of the built-in features of the replayer, like go back to previous turns,
Yeah.
to see what happened in the spectator mode during the game. Stuff like not really like a graveyard, there's no graveyard in
Yeah.
Hearthstone, but like cards have been played before, because once you play a card, it's gone. Like there's
Yeah.
like a little thing in the side where you can
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
like maybe like the 5 most recent cards or whatever,
Mm,
or like 5 most recent events, but you can go back and see
yeah.
everything. Those are all cool things. Or like we can bring up percentages of the next draw. That'd be cool too.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, man. All right, let's just talk quickly about constructed card building. I've asked this to the last few guests that I've had on the show. What do you think is key for a newbie joining the game? Good deck building or understanding of the game?
Well, I think understanding the game is a lot more important than good deck building, because, well, I mean, first of all, like it's like it kind of like helps in the deck building as you understand it too. But basically, you can easily copy deck lists from anybody, right? Like there's almost no deck list that can be kept secret. Like it doesn't, because
Yeah,
anytime you play a tournament, you're going to see the list after. So like the advantages you gain from being able to be a good deck builder, even in tournaments, is like not very much, just because you can't really keep stuff a secret for a very long time. I think it's absolutely more important to be like better at the technical play, like in game decisions and stuff, than deck building.
all right. Another question that's also asked a lot, and every week I get the same answer. What is the first legendary card that should be crafted?
Well, I don't know, maybe probably Blood Mage Thalnos.
Yes! Yes! This is the first week. Every week it's been Leroy Jenkins. Thank you, StrifeCro. Thank you. You broke the cycle. Yes.
Yeah, I mean Leroy is used in Miracle Rogue, I
Yep.
guess. Oh yeah, Leroy is also used in like Warlock Giants.
Yep.
But I mean, yeah, Leroy is strong as well. It's just the meta right now is so bursty that Leroy is like the card that attributes to
Yeah.
that almost. But I mean, Blood Mage is really solid too, and I
Yeah.
don't know, especially if you're like a more casual player, like playing more like, I think the lower ranks are more about like creature fighting instead of
Mm,
like uh like the miracle stuff too a lot. So Blood Mage is a really efficient creature with like spell power, and then after you combo it, it'll still draw you another card. So, and it's
yep.
a 1/1 to deal with. So yeah, it's either that or Leroy.
Yep. I'm sorry for making you deaf there. It's just literally the last 5 weeks on the trot. Leroy Jenkins. All right, going into the final question about the beginners, are there any other tips that you would like to give?
I'd say like the biggest thing is just like to not assume that every decision is like trivial. Like I see a lot of, even like early on in Hearthstone, when Hearthstone was like a very new game, like I noticed like a lot of the other top players, like everyone just thought that like everyone was making best decision all the time. Like, oh yeah, every decision was easy for everybody, you know. And
Mm.
then I think now, as people get better and better, they realize that like it's not like no one ever plays a perfect game pretty much, and there's so many different things to think about. So I wouldn't get trapped into thinking that every like the decisions that you made are like obvious and that there's not something else to think about, you know, when making decisions. That way you can like improve the most.
Sweet. All right. If you could make any card in Hearthstone, be it a legendary, minion, spell, secret, what would it be and what would it do?
I want to make a something that maybe like a creature with like a battle cry, or even like a spell where it like silences the player the next turn, like the other guy, where they can't cast any spells. Like they can only drop creatures and attack and use hero power. I don't know exactly how balanced or you know what the stats would be, but it'd be cool to have something to silence the other player for a
Nice.
turn. Not forever, obviously. That'd be too
Oh,
long.
yeah. Definitely. All right, let's just talk about the current meta right now. I mean, we're seeing a lot of these America roll shenanigans. We're seeing a lot of hand locks, a lot of shamans. Do you think that Blizzard need to wait till after next to address, like, if the problem still is there after next, where it's just Miracle Roll Rogue every game, or like, do you think that maybe they should take action before that to try and balance the game out?
I mean, I think they can just wait till next. It's so close that it's not worth it to make balance changes right before something comes out, right? Because they could change after that anyways. So I think they should definitely wait till next at this point.
All right, sweet. Do you, also, I want to talk about the big elephant in the room. That is the Paladin, and we haven't really seen much love given to the Paladin. I mean, sure, there has been an aggro deck doing the rounds, but do you think that the Nax cards are going to remedy Paladin and make it a class that is picked more in competitive play?
I don't know. I haven't really thought about it, and I don't even know what the Max Pally card is like off the top of my head. So I don't know what is the Max Pally card.
I am looking it up myself. Wow, I am so bad. It's called Avenge, and let me see. It's a one drop secret. When one of your minions dies, give a friendly minion +3/+2.
Hmm, that is really strong. Oh, but secrets can't proc on your own turn anymore, huh?
Yeah.
So that is really weird. But you know, it's really like one mana for +2 for +3/+2 is really over budgeted in a way. But you know, it's pretty specific. Like you need to have what like at least two creatures out or something, or nothing will happen.
Yeah.
I guess the secret won't get procced. It'll just still be there. So it's not the worst if you play it and your one creature gets killed. But I'm thinking like Paladin, like a direction that they can take Paladin I mean they already have it kind of right now where it's like really like buffing creatures, but I think they can take Paladin further by like being like really focused on buffing creatures, you know, like buffing your squires, not
Mm.
squires, the tokens, right? The one man,
Yeah.
the hero power tokens.
Hmm.
Like they have like a lot of things like that, like Divine Shield, even like Argent Protector, and also like Blessing of Kings, Blessing of Might, even Blessing of Wisdom. But yeah, I think that's the way they can take the class. Like they're doing. I think they're taking like each class like a certain direction in a way
Mm.
where you know like the new cards are kind of helping, and I think the what they're taking Paladin as is like buffing existing creatures up, you know.
Yeah. All right.
Especially since Paladin doesn't have like any like all their things are really slow. Like they don't have stuff like Swipe and Wrath. Like all their spells are like huge swings, like Equality and stuff, you know. So that's good because like Paladin would be too overpowered if they
Yeah.
could buff creatures up like really good and still have like the small spells, you know, like Mortal Coil and stuff like
Mm.
that. So it's like the way it works, it's like a big class, like huge plays and buffing up existing creatures. But the weakness of Paladin is like you can't really do small things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially in this heavy aggro meta where the Paladin just gets overwhelmed before he can really set up the play for the late game
Yeah,
or
like you
anything
can't
like that.
even kill a knife juggler as a paladin, right? Like there's nothing like
Yeah,
small. Like, there's not like a frostbolt, or something like that.
yeah.
So
It's like Hammer of Wrath is really expensive. I mean,
mhm.
it's like 4 mana. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
are there any tips that you can give guys out there which might be having problems with the usual suspects being Miracle Rogues, Shamans, and of course, Handlocks?
I don't know. I mean, if I knew, I'd do it. I don't know. You just gotta play.
Just get a
Gotta
Miracle
play.
Rogue for the Miracle Rogues, a Handlock for the Handlock.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Get a hand lock for the miracle, or get a miracle right for the shaman, and get a
Oh
shaman
yeah.
for the hand lock.
Exactly. I'm going to ask you a question. Like Gara brought this to my attention the week before. He was going for this French tournament, and they had this really interesting idea, right, for the
Uh,
format, right? Like I asked him a question that I was going to ask you, but I went with a different direction. Basically, every week I ask my guest, "What is the best tournament format?" And normally the answer is Swiss, but Gara brought up this French tournament, and the French tournament basically simplifies it. It's a best of three, but the difference is you could veto one class.
okay, I mean that and Swiss don't really have anything to do with each
No,
other.
no, I mean, like, normally
Um,
it's people like Swiss, right? But then he brought up this
mhm,
tournament, and the problem with Swiss and big tournaments appears to be that it's not logistically possible to accommodate that many people for X
that's
amount of
true.
rounds. So this was a really simple way to like remedy that by being able to play a best of three where both players can veto a class.
I mean, I think being able to veto classes is pretty good. Like, it really forces people to be able to play more decks. I guess it's good for me, maybe, but I think that basically having a veto is like it makes it. I guess there's like deeper strategy in the deck picking too, but it also just means that like decks that, or at least classes that some people are really sick about, and how like every tournament's like the same thing. At least you can have like some more variety. Some of the issue is that like it's really hard to prepare for something like that because you can't just like delete a deck and then the metagame is different, right? So
Yeah,
it's really hard to say like what you would even do because you never get to play a metagame like that in the ladder, right? You can't just delete Miracle Rogue and then play
yeah,
whatever, right? Or so I don't know. In a way, I like it, but then it's like it's really it's really weird for some spectators as well since they want to see the strongest decks and what would crush the metagame and
Miracle
everything.
Rogue every game.
But then it's like when you just ban like the strongest deck, then it's like a whole nother game, and you're effectively creating like another tournament only meta game. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? With that format, like say when what was the card that was really imbalanced? Like I don't know, like Tinkmaster or Nat
yeah,
Pagle in some tournaments just banned those cards. Like well, some people liked it, and I don't know. I always had mixed feelings because like it's just a whole nother metagame than ladder and everything else. It's like you're making your own metagame just for that tournament. But then again, it's like it's pretty just sick when like games are entirely like based on which Nat Pagle draws more. So, yeah, who knows?
yes. Who
But then
was?
it's like a different metagame as well because some decks are made just to like to fit in Nat Pagle. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like the deck works because there's like the slot for Nat Pagle. So yeah, I don't know.
exactly. Like, and who is the best fisherman that will win at the end of the day?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm really surprised nobody did a dangerous catch meme about that either. Like that would have been really good. Um, all right, going into some final questions. Would you be interested in doing charity streams?
What do you mean by that? I don't know. I'm not. I'm actually gonna probably get back into streaming soon. I've been streaming on Azubu, but after Cloud9,
Mm,
we're gonna move back to Twitch. I haven't started streaming yet. I'll have to see. Like I'd say for now, not really, but
mm.
I'm gonna start be streaming more, and I'll see how comfortable I am about it.
All right. Could you give us a bit of the future of StrifeCro?
Well, I'd like to eventually be into game designs, like designing like the concept of a game or even stuff. It really depends, but like that's basically what I want to do in the future. And right, at least for the next long time, I'm going to be playing Hearthstone, but eventually I want to get into game design. So.
Nice. So, like, once you do get fully into game design, will you be leaving the pro scene, or will you still be like streaming at the very least?
I have no idea. I haven't thought that far ahead, but I have like maybe like a year and a half more of school for game design, and I'll see. I'll have to see. It's hard. It's hard to say whether I'm still gonna be playing Hearthstone on a competitive level or just totally getting into game design and dropping Hearthstone.
All right. Going to some shoutouts. Do you have any shoutouts to give, Mr. StrifeCro?
Well, I'll give shoutouts to my new team, Cloud9. Like they've been like really great. Like they actually put up with us a lot because we actually had to delay joining them for a long time, just because we had a lot of issues. So like Jack from Cloud9 put up with it for a long time. And also shoutouts to my friends from my Goblin Hunters Mumble. It's like our group. Like they don't really play Hearthstone, but like I've known them for a long time, and we all just play all kinds of games together, like Hearthstone, League of Legends stuff. So shout out to them as well.
All right. Where can we follow you?
You can follow me on Twitter at StrifeCro. Probably on Twitch TV as well on StrifeCro. And I don't really have a Facebook that I use. Maybe I'll get it later, but yeah, just those two for now.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us today, StrifeCro. And of course, guys, if you did like this, do follow us at ongamers_com or on Facebook at facebook.com/ongamerscom. And if you liked me, follow me at the MishKing. That is all for this week. You have been well met.